Hi and welcome to Samsung Now. Samsung Now is where we look at all things Samsung, all things tech and all things gaming and anything in between. So if you're interested in either of those or all of those or any of those, don't forget to subscribe. Now, as you may remember, we've been talking quite a bit about the firmware update on the KS series of TVs from Samsung, specifically the 1180.5 and the 1180 update on their firmware. I updated mine, as you may recall, and I did a series of videos. I then did a post, a sort of review of the update and the problems that I encountered. Initially, I only used Blu-ray 4K content that I went away and watched. Obviously I can't show that to you because of copyright reasons. Another thing I need to mention is a lot of people, or some people, seem to think that I used dynamic settings for that. I didn't. I used my own settings, but for the point of the assessment videos and what have you, where I was showing the 4K content, sample content, I used a dynamic, because that, with all the processing turned off, because that is what everyone can use. Not everyone uses my settings, so it's pointless me showing that with my settings. We have to establish a baseline, so that's what I was doing. But for the reviews of when I went away and watched 4K Blu-rays, I used my own settings, which you can watch again. I've done a update that addresses some of the issues that some of you are having, and I'll tell you about that in a moment. So since I've been away, over the last week I've been watching a lot of HD content, because predominantly we still watch a lot of HD content. I've been using Amazon, YouTube, I've been playing the PlayStation Pro, I've been using the Switch, I've been watching standard definition TV, HD TV and 4K TV stream downloads, and live satellite stream on Sky. And these are the things I've discovered from doing that. Okay, so first of all, if you may recall, I had a problem with the HDMI switching. That still does it on the PS Pro. It annoys the hell out of me. I'll be playing the PlayStation Pro. I was playing until dawn the PS Plus free download, and it's sort of a bit quick-timey, that game, and you have to sort of press things at key moments. TV kept switching at key moments, and I ended up watching the tennis when I'm pressing like the triangle button to action a thing on screen. So annoying, so really frustrating, and I don't know what the problem is, and I've still yet to fully get that as to why that is happening. So that's, I've not seen anyone else have that problem, so I'm not too sure why I'm just seeing that. In terms of HD, it also depends a lot on source. I've found that standard HD, sort of over the air, in terms of satellite and sort of broadcast HD, is fine, seems okay. When it comes to downloading HD content that I'm getting from Sky, that's kind of hit and miss. Namely, the Superman movie that was just coming on Sky recently, that was a download in HD, and that looked awful. We had a ton of pixelation. It felt like we were going back to the 80s. It was grainy, it was fogging, it was almost unwatchable at times. Didn't look HD, yet that movie is recorded in 2K, so I don't know what the reason was for that. So I've seen a lot of HD content, and I think it really is dependent on how it's delivered to you. If it's a broadcast, it's not too bad. It's you know, it's there are still some issues depending on what's being broadcast, but if it's a modern HD content that's being broadcasted to you, then it seems to be okay. Streams rely predominantly on how new that movie is. For some reason, you know, where movies that were a little bit older seemed okay before don't seem okay now, and we're getting a lot of pixelation. It's really grainy, fogging, weird fogging. I'm getting around sort of people's faces, almost like they have this halo thing. So I'm not too sure what all that is about, and I'm getting that, and it seems to be dependent on source. It seems okay more so on Netflix than it does on Amazon. Amazon seems to suffer from juddering. I'm also getting Amazon and Netflix and YouTube crashing a lot. Amazon will just freeze up on me halfway through a movie. It'll just stop. So yeah, and then the other thing I'm getting is no HDR flag when I'm playing a HDR movie or playing a HDR game on PlayStation, and I'm still not too sure if it's working or not, despite one of the checks which I'll go through in a moment. One of the other things that I've noticed that I haven't experienced, but I know you guys have experienced, PS Pro issues, sort of flickering and odd juddering that's going on the PS Pro. Not too sure what that is, but maybe try resetting the PS Pro, and then or making sure it's certainly updated. That could, because there was a recent update for the PS Pro. There's judder on, a lot of people getting an awful lot of judder. I'm not getting too much. Again, it's dependent on source. 4K seems okay. 4K on this TV still looks okay. It still looks pretty good. It's HD for me that I'm having issues with, and that's dependent on source. And again, the judder seems to reflect on the source that's being fed to it. Streaming seems to suffer more with the judder, but that could also reflect in terms of what your download speed is on your internet, in terms of how Amazon and YouTube and Netflix are dealing with the stream. There could be an update issue with that, you know, an issue with the app on the screen. And then of course we've got light bleed. I've not suffered too much from light bleed, no more than normal. There's one thing I've seen a few people that have had light bleed issues, is maybe get Samsung to check out your panel, because on the 7000 series we've seen it come away. We've seen the panel come away. So that needs to be addressed. If it's really bad, if you're seeing a lot of sort of light bleed at the bottom of your screen, then that could be that the LED sort of light panel has come away a little bit, the adhesive. I've seen some comments on some of my videos where someone has experienced that, so it may be worth something to check out. So that's what I've experienced. That's what I've seen a lot of people on here experience. I'm going to now go and do another video where I take you through the settings which fix some of the issues. They're not going to fix all the issues, but I've been fiddling with HD content. I've been doing a lot of sort of trying to make things work to get a better picture, in terms of trying to solve the judder, trying to solve the pixelation, and I think I've come up with a fairly decent balance. And of course, depending on your panel and depending on which model of KS series TV, you will have to sort of tweak those a little bit, but it's a good baseline that we're going to be working from, and then hopefully it will fix some of the issues for you guys. Okay, look out for the next video. It's going to be the fix video, and we'll get on to that next. Okay guys, thanks again. Bye bye.